What if I told you that the war between heaven and hell was even more epic than we ever imagined? Look at this passage in Revelation 12-7. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. Michael wasn't just hanging out in heaven playing a harp when the rebellion hit. No, Sahima is the chief commander of God's army, the general of heaven's forces, handpicked by God himself to lead the heavenly hosts. Okay, as a game changer, Michael wasn't fighting because he was jealous of Lucifer or felt threatened by him. But the war in heaven was much more complex and intense. It involved cosmic beings with extraordinary powers. And I'm not talking about Jedi mind tricks or superhero battles. Now, you might think that since the war is over, Michael is chilling on a cloud somewhere, sipping on some celestial lemonade. Okay, fast forward to the end of times, and what do we have in store for us? The return of the King, Jesus Christ himself. And guess who's gonna be there to greet him? From his humble beginnings to his glorious ascension, Michael has been a beacon of hope and strength for God's people. If you want to learn more about the fascinating world of angels, I've got a treat for you. Check out this video right here, where I delve into another intriguing question. Where are the angels when we need them the most? Click here to keep exploring the mysteries of the divine, and don't forget to subscribe for more heavenly insights. Until next time, may the wings of Michael guide you, protect you, and remind you that you're never alone. Thanks for watching. He reminds us that true strength comes from humility, obedience, and unwavering faith. So whether you're facing a personal battle or just need a little bit of heavenly encouragement, remember, Michael is watching over you. Just close your eyes, say a quick prayer, and feel his presence beside you. Who knows, you might just hear the faint echo of his trumpet call, urging you to keep going, to stay strong, and to never give up in the face of adversity. So keep fighting, my friends, for Michael is on our side and God is in control. Yep, you guessed it, Archangel Michael, the warrior of God. He'll be there to announce Jesus' arrival and usher in the final battle between good and evil. We're talking about a trumpet call so loud it shakes the dead out of their graves. And when I say dead, I mean everyone who has ever lived. Imagine that. Michael's voice echoing across the universe, calling the righteous and the wicked alike to the final showdown. It's like the ultimate game of cosmic chess. And Michael is the Grand Master of God's army. But let me tell you, he's still active, still fighting, and still protecting God's people. He was also a picture of humility and obedience. Despite his immense power and status, he didn't let it go to his head. He remained humble and submitted himself to God, knowing that true strength comes from serving a higher purpose. That's the message we should all take to heart. No matter how powerful or successful we become, we should never forget to stay grounded, to remain humble, and to put our faith in something bigger than ourselves. After all, it's not our strength or intelligence that truly matters. It's our connection to the divine that gives us real power. As the guardian angel of Israel in the church, he's constantly battling the forces of evil, fighting in the unseen realms to keep us safe. It's like having a personal bodyguard, except he's got wings and a sword and the power of the Almighty behind him. Pretty cool, huh? So while we might not see him fighting demons under our beds or rescuing us from giant monsters, rest assured he's watching over us, protecting us, and fighting for our freedom from the chains of sin and Satan's grasp. I am talking about an epic showdown between good and evil that shook the very foundations of the universe. These weren't knights on horseback. These were heavenly beings fighting with light, with words, with songs, and with unfathomable powers. Stars were literally swept away in the conflict, and dragons were flung to the nether regions. We're talking about a battle that defied human comprehension. It was a war that went beyond earthly battles, involving the fate of the cosmos itself. And guess who was right in the middle of it all? Archangel Michael, the mighty warrior of God, fighting for the very survival of goodness and righteousness in the universe. Nah, he was fighting because he loved God and was completely obedient to his commands. So we know that Michael was in the thick of the battle. But how did he ultimately defeat Lucifer? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't a walk in the park. It took all the strength and courage Michael could muster, along with the support of his fellow angels. In the end, it was a divine intervention that led to Lucifer's downfall. Michael didn't execute Lucifer himself, but he was a key player in carrying out God's judgment against the fallen angel. Think of it this way. You wouldn't send a lowly soldier to take on a general. You'd bring in the big guns, the special forces, the elite of the elite, and that's exactly what happened in heaven. It was a celestial showdown between good and evil, and Michael and his angels were the ones who came out on top. It's like your best friend asks you to help him move a couch. You don't do it because you hate your friend or are jealous of his awesome new couch. You do it because you're a loyal buddy who loves and respects him. That's exactly how Michael approached the battle. He wasn't climbing the ranks or trying to steal Lucifer's spotlight. He was simply doing what God asked him to do. He knew God was in control, and he trusted God's plan. That's the kind of loyalty and obedience we should all strive for, not just in our spiritual lives, but in every aspect of our lives. Imagine being in the army and having God Almighty choose you to be the leader of the troops. Yeah, that's exactly who Michael was. So when Lucifer decided to go rogue and challenge God's authority, Michael was there on the front lines ready to fight. Now you might be thinking, okay, says he was ready to fight, but where was he? Well, let me tell you, he wasn't hiding in a bunker somewhere sipping hot cocoa. He was right in the thick of it, fighting alongside his fellow angels to defend God's throne and uphold righteousness. This is no fairy tale or bedtime story. We're talking about a celestial showdown between good and evil, and Michael was right in the middle of it. But he was not strong enough, and they got the better of him, and he was hurled down. Now, you may have read this passage many times, but what I want to do in this video is answer one very important question. Where was Archangel Michael during Lucifer's rebellion? Let's dive into the fascinating truth from Heaven's War. No, Michael was Heaven's chief commander of God's army. Number 2, Lucifer's rebellion was cunning, not obvious. Now, you might think that Lucifer's rebellion was something that happened overnight, like a bolt from the blue, but let me tell you, it was nothing like that. No, sir. Lucifer didn't march into the throne room with a mob of angry demons and cause a scene. He was much more subtle and sneaky than that. Remember, Lucifer was once the most beautiful and wisest of all the angels. He was like the star player on God's team. But then something happened. Maybe it was pride or maybe it was envy, but whatever it was, it caused Lucifer to turn against his creator and rebel against God's authority. And get this, he didn't do it with brute force. No, he used his charm, his charisma, and his cunning to whisper doubts and spread discord among the heavenly hosts. Just imagine how confusing and distressing that must have been for the other angels. They looked up to Lucifer. He was their star player. But then he started questioning God's motives, casting doubts on God's commands and turning hearts against the divine order. To put it in perspective, it's like your team captain, who you trust and admire, suddenly turns traitor and starts working for the other team. You'd be shocked and confused, wouldn't you? And that's exactly how Lucifer operated. He was the master manipulator, and his rebellion was as cunning as it was treacherous. No, 3. Michael did not fight in jealousy, but in pure obedience. Number 4. The battle was beyond human comprehension. Now, when we think of battles, we usually picture soldiers with swords and shields clashing on a battlefield. No, Lucifer was cast down by Michael and his angels. No, 6. Michael still fights for God's people today. No, 7. Michael will appear in the end times again. Number 8. Michael is a picture of God's power working through humility. Look, Michael wasn't just a badass warrior. So there you have it. The fascinating truth about Archangel Michael and his role in the war between heaven and hell. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the life and legacy of Archangel Michael, the brave warrior of God.